The purpose of this video is to capture what Terminal 1 was like in its final month of operations. We'll explore the areas that are airside and we'll walk through the terminal step by step. I'll add commentary where it's needed, but for the most part, this is a wander through what is now consigned to the past. Terminal 1 is no more. Well, sort of. The last flight left with EasyJet on the 18th of November, and now the majority of the terminal, well, lies idle. At least for now, anyway. Its future is a little bit uncertain. Do you remember the escalators that used to sit here, taking you up to the food court? I will note here that the check-in area does remain open and will be rebranded as Terminal 3 early next year, and in the first part of the video you'll see the Terminal 1 that will become Terminal 3. Keep it up? Good. So, where we're walking now will still be open. This becomes Terminal 3. I've featured the walk with the new Ryanair experience from check-in to departure lounge in this video, so check that out later on. Let's walk through duty free. I think this is going to remain as is, although I'm pretty sure the Christmas decorations are just for this time of year. This area just past duty free will also remain. I wonder if any new retailers will take up the space here. Pretty much where the big yellow signs are is where the terminal will end. That heads then over to their legacy Terminal 3, and some of the photos that Manchester Airport posted show that a wall does now exist here. Anything past this point, well, that's the big question mark. So where we're walking now, well, you'll no longer be able to access this. If you know what's going to happen to this space beyond, then do let us know in the comments. I'm pretty sure many of us would love to know any insights. For the most part, we're looking at footage from the last week of October 2025. But I have dropped in some footage that I took when the airport was recovering from COVID a couple of years ago, and I'll label that in the top left. We're up in the food court area now. I've had some pretty good meals up here over the years. And now back down to the main floor. I remember a desperate Burger King in here one Friday night as me and my friends caught our flight to Ibiza for my 18th birthday. This terminal is full of family, happy memories. This isn't the usual style of video on the channel, but if you'd like more walkthroughs like this, drop a like and a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe. More airline reviews are coming next week, and the week after, and the week after that. We're entering Pier C now, and from what I've read online and seen on Flight Radar 24, this pier continues to be used even after the departure lounge has been closed. However, when I say it's in use, it seems the stands are, but the terminal infrastructure isn't right now. It appears that some of the aircraft for Terminal 2 are parking over here, and passengers are being bussed across. An apology, you can see the staircase down here on the left. I forgot to go down. You see, you need to go down here through a pretty tight passage and back up the other side to use the gates on the other side of the pier. One of the features that made this pier unique and, to be honest, bloody frustrating to use. You can see some works taking place here on the left, and I think in future, the way I understand it anyway, this pier will be refurbished and become reactivated as part of Terminal 2. We're walking through the core Pier C, built in the 1970s here. At this point, the pier narrows down, and we'll head into the satellite, and you can feel the difference as we enter an area that was built in the 80s. Hands up any of those who've been unfortunate to arrive on gate 29. When this pier was built, there was no segregation between arriving and departing passengers. As best as I can work out, this changed in the early 2000s with the introduction of this glass-walled segregated barrier. If you do come in on gate 29, you have to walk the circumference of the satellite before walking down the pier. Walking back towards the terminal, and you can clearly see the arrivals side on the other side of this glass. And yes, this is why you need that staircase for the other gates that I mentioned earlier to go underneath this glass corridor. It's maybe about time the airport showed some love to Pier C, especially if it's going to keep it around. Let's head back into the departure lounge now, and that Sixt advert has been there for years. Does anyone know how long? It does seem a real shame to get rid of this space. It was built in, I think, 98, and still feels pretty modern and airy. Really, this is a far better departure area than Terminal 3, and I just can't work out why they don't want to keep this instead. As we head through to Pier B, and I've always had a weird soft spot for this strange little bridge that connects you from the departure lounge to the pier. Does anyone know when it was added? I'm guessing similar to the time that the glass corridor was added on Pier C. And as you can see, the glass partition extends in a similar way on this pier as well. There's plenty of history here. So Pier B, think of this as a central corridor that we're walking through now, with bits added onto the other side over the years. Take a look to your left and you'll see those windows. They're matched to what's on the right. So this is the original pier that we're stood in, with the extended area on the left that was added later on. I think this was part of the Lufthansa Super Hub project in the early 90s. I couldn't find much info about it, so if you do have any insights, please do share in the comments. Isn't it crazy though that 30 years later, these windows that would have once been the exterior facade, I suppose, are still there, and they were never amended or changed. Emirates were stationed at the end on the only A380 gate in T1. That setup is no longer required, so curious to see what's going to happen to this pier. Will it be used for passengers? Will it just be used for parking? I've no idea. Anyway, let's head back now towards the departure hall. Let's go down this staircase, and I'm pretty sure at one point there were gates down here. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this footage that I took just after COVID went down a staircase on this pier to access some of the stands on the other side. You can see on the staircase on the left, I'm pretty sure you could get up through there into Terminal 3. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Let's head back towards the departure hall. You can see how to get into Terminal 3 on my previously released video, so please do check that out like I said. I'll let you walk back up the terminal to that point now, but thanks for staying to the end, it's much appreciated. Like I said, give it a like, drop some comments down and we can have a conversation about it, and of course, subscribe. Thank you.